So we're here after day 3 of Dubai Watch Week. Time stands still in Dubai.
Yeah, it does.
It's hard to know what day of the week it is here.
I'm not even sure. I think it's a Thursday, actually.
Huh. We are lost in time because we travel constantly. I didn't want to say travel all the time.
Okay.
So the last show, which you haven't seen yet because we didn't publish it, was us playing the fine watchmaking version of Trivial Pursuit. So It's come to me after a very interesting interview today that this may be available for sale at some point in the future. We have many of these to give away. Seriously, if the FHH was given a good sort of proposal, we could give away, seriously, people, like 1,000 of these. They have a lot. So if you can think of something fun that we could do to give away a bunch of Trivial Pursuit fine watchmaking editions away. A thought I had was this. So we want to make this game bigger and better. That's sort of the whole point of why I even talked to them about it. Yeah. Because I grew up with Trivial Pursuit, and it was like, a bigger game. And it had a lot more questions, and this one only has 330. So they said, the Trivial Pursuit people, who owns that? It's Hasbro. We're going to get in the toy market now.
Okay.
We'll make the bigger version if they have almost 1,000 questions. So we could have people come up with questions that could be part of the game.
Yep.
And if your question gets chosen, you get one because, again, they want to give away 1,000. They need 1,000 questions.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, actually.
So we should do that. Yeah. So we're going to pitch this to the FHH, and we'll say that we can give away 1,000 of these if we get 1,000 questions for a bigger, more expanded game, and then they could sell it.
Yeah, I think there's... Yeah.
They could sell it at watch stores.
So let us know what you think would be a cool question. Just so you don't have to look up the other video, let's just say that there are 6 categories, which include materials, techniques, history, decorations, collections, and brands. So the questions are...
We still need this to be approved by the FHH. These people need to have the right proposal.
Yeah.
The right time frame to make an approval.
That's true.
Things in Switzerland, it's a consensus culture, so they all have to agree. So we'd like to make this happen. And now you can bring an adult fine watchmaking party game to homes everywhere. To watch meetup groups everywhere. This is what they're going to do. They're going to take it from the bar to someone's basement, and they're going to play fine watchmaking Trivial Pursuit. What if that's going to happen like 20 years from now? It's going to go so underground. It's going to basically become expensive Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly, I was thinking Dungeons and Dragons.
Expensive Dungeons and Dragons.
With
the Tourbillon expansion set.
My Tourbillon beats your Tourbillon.
So, what did you see that you liked in Dubai?
So far?
The food.
The food.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So much good food here. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to imagine not gaining a lot of weight by moving here.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not just really good food, but there's really big portions. Yeah. American-sized portions, if not more.
A lot of good food.
Fair price.
Yeah.
Fair price here for that.
It's true.
A little tough to get around. Traffic is, congested here. But there seems to be a lot of good food. Super unpretentious place across the street from the hotel.
Thank God, yeah. Across the street from a Four Seasons. Imagine that.
Yeah. Good stuff, people.
Yeah.
We should talk about watches. We have watches in front of me. This is what I brought to wear. I always have to make a decision. I was really excited to wear the Nubeo.
Lots of two-tone watches, actually. Tell us about that.
I'm getting into two-tone.
I know.
So it used to be that it was all steel or titanium or something like that.
Yeah.
But then I don't think I can go full gold yet.
Yeah. It's a transitional period for Ariel.
Yeah, it is.
I think we have established that.
Also,
so what do we have here? We have a two-tone Nubeo.
Yeah.
That's really freaking cool.
So yellow gold and steel. And then the date just 41 also in yellow gold and steel.
I will film a little bit of B-roll for that.
And then the Omega Globemaster actually also in yellow gold. So I'm clearly a yellow gold person. I'm not interested in rose gold right now. But this is all yellow gold. It used to be a few years ago, you would never see a yellow gold watch coming out.
Oh yeah, now it's always part of whatever. But
it was so weird. It was like the industry was completely abandoning it. Like if you saw a yellow gold watch being sold somewhere, which was like never in America, you'd be like, "What is that? They actually sell those?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a few years. For a few years it went away, but for two-tone, I think it's only yellow gold that's appropriate.
No, they sell it both ways. Kidding me?
How do you mean? How do you mean both ways?
Rose gold.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying it's nice. I'm just saying they sell it. There's a ton of it.
That's one thing. They sell a lot of
Actually,
things that are not nice.
This makes yellow gold seem a little darker when it's next to steel.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. In two-tone, I think you have to go yellow gold.
Listen, really, I clearly really agree with you.
Yeah, I know. This is a good combination.
I have to say right now, I've said it before, but I think it's really a shame what the watch industry charges for gold. Like, they make it so inaccessible to own gold. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that gold is a precious metal, and I know that it deserves a premium, okay? But that's not what the watch industry charges for it.
Oh, no.
Okay? They mark up the value so much, and then they whine about, oh, well, you know how big of a piece we need? It's like there's a watch case. They're like, we needed a whole billion to make it.
And like, as though they were throwing away the rest of the gold. I mean, clearly it's not.
They're like, we had to start with a really big bar of gold. I'm like, that you were going to use or sell back.
Exactly.
You know? So they have no good excuse for making gold prices so high.
The only good excuse, if I may say, is that it's a status symbol. You know,
that's not actually an excuse.
No, it's the reason.
It's a bad justification.
But it justifies it because, people are
Well,
buying
we're looking for good justifications,
watches,
David. That's our mission in life. Good justifications.
Good justification and luxury watches,
That's why what we do is hard.
Yeah.
Some of these watches don't have good justifications.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that this is justified quite yet. I like this. Okay. This is the Breitling Emergency 2 in a titanium case with a mother of pearl dial.
Which,
and
if I may add, is I think an amazing combination.
It really works so well. Yeah. I've enjoyed wearing this immensely. Yeah. It's way too big on my wrist. I would normally never wear a watch this big.
Yeah.
Look, I like big watches. That's clearly too big for my wrist. That's just not going to work. But it's comfortable. But I have to say, Breitling, as much as your deployant clasp is great, why do you still make people cut the strap? Isn't there a better way?
I mean, I'm not sure if that's actually, is that necessary?
I had to do surgery on this strap to make it work. I literally had an X-Acto blade, which is a scalpel, basically, okay, for models. And I had to cut this thing. It took me so long. It's like if you don't cut it precisely, it's not going to fit.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a pain in the ass. Again, the deployant is great, but I guess the whole point is Breitling doesn't want you to do it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you buy the watch, they will do it for you.
I know. But the thing is this.
It's a good thing to be able to service your own watch.
No, what it is good is, this is why I hate that. It forces you to only have a narrow range to wear it. So, like, we trade watches all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. We have the same size wrist. Okay, if we didn't have the same size wrist.
Yeah, that's true.
Then it would be a pain in the ass.
There's a micro adjust, but it's like maybe
what if like a father wants to like buy a watch and let a son or daughter wear it, and that child has a smaller wrist? Basically,
buy another strap and just
that's annoying.
Mess around with changing
scratch
the
your case constantly.
Exactly. Oh man.
I mean, that's why a lot of the watches, like with the Vacheron Constantin, the new overseas, Hublot, Big Bang 45, all these brands that have these quick release strap, thank you for doing that. That's great. But you make it way too expensive to have alternative straps. So it's like a tease. It's like, here's one, maybe two with your watch. And there's a bunch of random ones. And they never advertise what those other styles are.
Yeah. I mean, I agree completely.
Have you ever seen an email ever in the course of what we've done from a brand, a major brand, saying we have a new strap available?
No, never. Unless it was like linked to a new release, like
the only time I saw one was when Omega did their style NATO. Remember? They sent a press release about that.
For 300, I think it was. Seamasters 300, something like that.
Yeah, it was around the same time. So it was. I think it cost about 200, maybe a little bit more Swiss francs.
I remember. It was very
when
high
you could
quality,
buy. Yes, it was. But to buy a decent quality one, not the cheapest one, but a decent quality one online is like $20 or $30. So that jump, that's like several 100% jump for some more quality
hardware and a tiny little bit.
Listen,
better
you know
quality?
who makes the best like nylon strap right now is Apple.
Yeah,
it blows all those guys out of the water. Seriously, if like IWC came out with that, for example, and it was that material, easily charge 250 Swiss francs per strap. Apple charges, I guess $50 maybe more. I think it's about 50.
Yeah. I mean, the volume
For those?
obviously is
Of course, but I'm just saying.
But the quality is
the
there.
quality is something that people would say, because IWC has nice straps.
Yeah.
So if you went ahead and you put something like that, it's like a NATO for whatever their pilot watches. I guess for the diving watches too. Everyone would be like, oh my God, IWC gets it. They're so great.
Their leather straps are really, really good. IWC leather straps, I think, are spot on. You know what they're doing. That's good stuff. But
it's the Santoni stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the Nubeo, this works here. I really miss this brand. This is the designer was a guy named Ivan Castro, and he was a Spanish guy. I don't know where he is. I lost touch with him years ago. Super nice guy. I
think what would have to explain here is that it's the attention to detail in the Nubeo. Because when you look at it like that, from far away, I think if you have a really good eye for detail, you can tell from far away that it's
so here's one good detail.
Really watch.
In this watch, the subsidiary seconds dial is mother of pearl, just like in my Louis Vuitton tambour, which I really like. Okay. Way more money went into the case than the movement. Way more money. Look at this at the bottom. Look how flush these parts are. There's like a bunch of parts going on there. You see that? Look how flush that is. You know those tolerances?
Oh yeah, it's
fanatical. Fanatical tolerances. Everything here works so well. And my favorite story about this watch, the movements they use, everyone gets a kick out of this story.
This is the 7750?
Yeah, so the 7750 is a chronograph movement.
Yeah.
Right? This has 7750. It's not a chronograph. They went to the expense of buying a 7750 and just basically saying, like, yeah, we don't need the chronograph. We're just going to take all those parts out.
Yeah. And the reason being?
Because of the position of the subsidiary seconds hands at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's other ways of doing that, but they said, no, we want an automatic. Okay, it's an automatic, and it's got a cool-ass customized rotor there that has guilloche.
Wow.
Black guilloche.
Cool. Yeah.
And the dial has that same pattern too, a slightly different one. Yeah. But the rotor is a guilloche one, not the dial.
Oh man, that's really cool. A lot of attention to detail here.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Heavy, crazy heavy. It has to be
comfortable as hell.
Yeah, that's true. And all these little elements here, laid.
This is the first brand I remember, and a lot of people copied this to put elements in the strap.
Gold.
Oh yeah.
So this is solid gold, not plated.
I have a different version of that. Guess what the links are in the studs here. Guess what they are?
I happen to know they're diamonds.
Well, there's that one.
Diamond set ones. Yeah.
No, there's the ceramic one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's that one. So the diamond thing comes second, and the first thing is ceramics. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and look, even the screw bars are gold.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
Screw bars are gold.
This is a cool watch. I mean, it really is. When was this made?
I'm guessing like maybe 2010.
Okay. It's a lot of money flowing through the watch industry at that time.
Oh man. I wish we were in on that part of it.
Oh yeah, crazy small brands just come and go.
This one I remember. So basically, the economy was bad, and the investor stopped paying the people to actually do anything.
Yeah, the economy was bad, but to be clear, the watch
the investor, the investor just stopped paying. So it wasn't they were not selling. The investor wasn't, because they knew it was going to take several years to start making money.
Yeah.
But the investor just stopped.
Yeah.
So I want to know who owns all the parts and stuff. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not for everyone.
Nothing else like it.
Not even close.
Sure.
And it was the Kobe Bryant brand.
And does it pain you that it's a 7715 there?
Why?
Should it be in-house? Of course not. You see,
Who cares?
My point. Yeah, exactly.
I want it to work. I want someone to service it. If it's in-house, exactly. I would never wear it.
See, this is a perfect case. I mean, the brand has gone away. The case is very unique. The dial is very unique. The strap is very unique. The strap may be a problem, actually. But the movement is at least serviceable. Which you should do is find another strap, possibly. Because it's rubber and
I know.
5 years from now.
A lot of these, where people wore them a lot, they have these like non-fitting straps. So it looks okay, but it doesn't have this cool integrated look. Yeah. That's why I don't wear this often. Yeah. But I'll say this. The strap is designed in a way so that this is where it always broke. It always broke right here in people taking it on and off. They weren't careful enough, and this is sharp. And these are square.
Oh, okay.
So that was the problem. That's why the better ones are round.
Up the material
this part is fine because, look, the whole thing is meant to just... So the movement is relatively small.
Yeah.
So the stress on the material is not that big.
Yeah, up here. Yeah.
Here is where it gets dangerous. This is where they've all been broken.
Yeah.
I mean, look, theoretically, I guess I could track the people down, but it'd be expensive because the guys that made the strap are not the company.
Of course not. I mean, it has to be, it must have been like...
I remember he showed me a strap that was rubber. It was camouflage rubber. You know how they did it? It's the first one I'd ever seen. He said it was the first one that ever existed.
How did they made like a large, piece of it and just cut it out?
No. When they were injecting the rubber,
yeah, they
did it in different colors, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Oh, that's really cool.
And he said they hated it. They said it took them forever to do it. They said they
did it anyway.
Yeah, and so he showed me the prototypes. Super cool.
Wow. I've never seen one of those around. I mean, I've seen camouflage straps, becoming a thing a few years ago, but...
Well, Casio doesn't now.
Really?
Because now they have the plastic. It's in the plastic as the color.
Okay. Well, that's pretty close. Okay. Well, I was wondering if there's like a good way of taking care of a rubber strap. For leather, I mean, if you
they
put,
say
some
there's ways of
chemicals
moisturizing it. I don't believe that
exactly.
any of that works.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't moisturize the surface, but that means right on the surface it's getting...
Yeah. I mean, because these dry out, and that's when they start to crack. And
but I'll tell you what,
crack,
there's a difference between good and poor rubber.
This is really good. This is...
Oh my God. I've had watches where I've held it, and the strap came apart in my hands. Seriously. This is from when I first started buying watches when I was in early college or mid-college or whatever. Watches, it wasn't silicone. Silicone lasts fine, no problem. Silicone gets weird and sticky.
Yeah.
But this rubber, it would all kinds of problems, from getting brittle and just falling apart to look almost decomposing. Yeah. Like it turns sticky and gross.
That's pretty bad.
Stain stuff.
No. This actually says natural organism on the back. Explain that. No, not now.
I can't. Exactly. I want to so much.
What else do we have here, hiding here in red?
The Custos.
The Custos challenge. It's a challenge too. Read the time, I guess.
Well, okay, you know how you say a lot, the struggle is real?
Yeah.
That's Custos' way of saying that. Life is a challenge.
The challenge is real.
To get through the day.
Oh, man.
That's the get through the day watch.
I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, but the reflections, it's just,
Listen, how often do we go to a brand that has poor crystals? It's the exception when they have a good crystal. You know that.
Like this one, this G-Shock, which is incredible. I mean...
Well, it's flat.
Yeah, but still.
Don't get me wrong. It's a good crystal. Yeah. But I'm just saying,
curved, I'm seeing...
But we've seen very good curved ones. Okay, so the Vianney halter.
That was actually really good, yeah. It's
fantastic.
Vianney halter, Deep Space Tourbillon, that's what it was, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was good stuff, yeah.
So it can be done. On the MB&Fs, on the LM1, pretty good.
It's really, that's
pretty good.
I really want you saying that.
It can be done. It can be done. So what I'm saying is
Richard Mille is also really good on the front crystal, but what they do is they use a sapphire dial, the dial itself, and the dial itself is what reflects back at you. So that's really strange because the light goes through the front crystal perfectly fine, but there's something weird happening, and it took me a while to figure it out, but then I realized that it's the actual dial that's not air-coated.
This is what David thinks about.
All the time, especially when I'm editing images and I'm like, where the heck is it coming from?
Okay.
So you see, the struggle is indeed real with reflections.
The challenge.
The challenge, yeah, whatever.
But I got a lot of compliments on the watch today.
You sure did.
That's the thing. We can sit there and criticize this, and then at the end of the day, the watch did receive attention.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty red. It's pretty big.
I'll tell you what. Guess what no one said a thing about? People are afraid to
say no one, but
they're afraid to say anything about this watch. I don't know why.
Because this one they recognize, or they think they will be able to tell what it is.
I've heard of that brand.
Like, what's that?
Nobody wants to be like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
The case is cool, the side profile, I like how the strap is just kind of...
Yeah, that's actually a good thing. It makes for a more comfortable
This is the smartest part of the watch. I don't know why more brands don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who does it?
It's locked.
Oh, no, you know what it is? The MTG.
Well,
the MTG does it.
Yeah, but this is an MRG, and here as well, if you look at it, like the bracelet comes right down.
No, it does it well, but it doesn't have this big-ass bar.
I know.
The
I know.
nanotube,
Yeah.
carbon, whatever they call it now. I'm getting really sick of all these weird material names. Nanocarbon tubes.
What would be an ideal name for nanocarbon tubes?
Plastic.
I guess that's right. But that doesn't imply how nano it is.
There's so many particles. Seriously, some of the names are that we have to deal with on a regular basis.
Oh my.
This was controversial.
How so?
I love how the date just. Here's the thing. I mean, I've never really talked about this.
How is it controversial?
Hold on.
Seriously.
When's the last time you saw someone in the watch industry wearing a date just?
I've seen ladies wear date just.
Okay, a guy.
Ladies versions.
A guy. You've seen a lot of ladies. That's true. A guy. When's the last time you saw a guy wearing a date just?
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't.
I see them all the time, just not...
Not in what we're talking about watch industry people. No. I don't see... I couldn't tell you. No. Not in the last year, that's for sure.
Why is that?
Because it used to be the obvious choice, so much so that people turned away, and now it isn't anymore.
The obvious choice?
Yeah, if you wanted to...
I don't even think we were not around when it was the obvious choice.
Yeah. But the images, the image remains. It's not a question of whether or not it was for the last couple of years, but what it is. And the date just has been around for forever.
I love this bracelet.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. Yeah.
It really is. It's not a watch industry watch. This is actually a piece of men's jewelry.
Oh yeah, actually yeah.
This is men's jewelry.
And in two-tone you can get away with wearing it pretty much anytime.
You think that's okay to make for any time? If it was gold, if it was gold, I couldn't do it.
All gold now. All gold nowadays with all the wrappers and stuff.
Let me ask you, where is it that I could go where I could pull off the solid gold one? Where?
We've seen a lot of members-only clubs around here. I guess.
No. That I actually go and do.
Oh, for you personally?
Yeah, like given my lifestyle, given what we do, fine, throw yourself in there as well. Where do we go where we have an opportunity to, in a appropriate way, wear a solid gold watch?
Well, like I said, sometimes, in some ways today, I think it's appropriate anytime because you see people sometimes just wear it around. Like you
but
go
is that
to
us?
buy some clothes or whatever. It's not us, but it's not as extraordinary as it used to be. I think.
I mean, I guess that's true. I guess
if you look at it like an all gold Rolex, how much is it? It's like 28, 20.
Let's say about 30,000.
Yeah, about 30,000. And you can buy a watch in non-gold for like 50,000 or more than that. That's way more. So it's the actual value is not so outrageous today to wear a $30,000 watch. I know that sounds.
What you're saying is it's not the pinnacle of watches.
It's and in value, not it. Yeah, it's not.
Okay, I get that. But that's not what it's supposed to represent to other people. The idea is that it's still a $30,000 item on your wrist that only serves to tell people that you had an extra $30,000 to spend.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
if you see somebody wearing a minute repeater in any other material, no one is going to be like, that's some people, but most people aren't going to be like, that's I don't know, 100,000, more, whatever.
I did have a Richard Mille to wear for like a few weeks. And I wore it around as a test, a lot. And no one gave a crap about it because
where were you?
People have no idea. On the street, on public transport, or wherever.
In your hometown?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe if you were traveling to an airport or
no, when I was
city.
traveling, yeah. But we're talking about everyday settings here, and
Look, I think that's interesting.
No one realized what it was.
Okay, so a lot of people have been asking the question for years now, how it is that Richard Mille can charge what they do, and I think that you just answered it.
Yeah, right? I think
they still convey the sense that if you wear one, it costs you a lot of money.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if it wasn't
circles, not for everybody.
No, look, anyone that knows watches in any sincere way knows Richard Mille, knows they're ungodly expensive. So it doesn't matter if you still bought something for half off.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Richard Mille knows that a lot of brands sell things routinely for half off. You know that.
Richard Mille is not, to my knowledge. I mean, it would be very difficult to buy a Richard Mille half off, I think.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I haven't tried. But I do know that if it did happen, it would still be $400,000. Okay?
Realistically speaking, at least 70. I mean, they start at around 89,000.
I mean, he's getting way over $100,000 watch on
average.
Okay, so knowing that, again, he has a lot of people that he has to pay along the way. He has distributors, you know.
No, we don't have to try to justify it. It's just
but he's still making
watch
a good.
That's the expensive watch. There.
So people always say like, "Why are you charging so much? Charge less." You know, and he's like, "Why would I?"
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It is that people understand it's an ultimate status symbol. So that's what the tourbillon used to be. The tourbillon used to be, if you had one, you had money because it was expensive. Then the price kept coming down, and then all the people that made tourbillons that were expensive said like, "Hey guys, why are you doing this? You don't need to be doing it. You're just reducing the market. You're just making tourbillons, less valuable."
Yeah, but they did it nonetheless. I mean, you can now...
They did it nonetheless because it wasn't that hard to make a tourbillon.
Yeah, as it turns out.
As it turns out, all this stuff was like mastered long ago.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Okay?
And as it turns out, you can modify base movements, some base movements, not all of them, but some base movements you can totally modify and turn into a tourbillon without changing two-thirds of the parts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous if you think about it.
So what I'm saying is we are in 2016 now, the end of 2016. God, we're getting old. No, it's like, it's almost 20 years into the 2000s.
Yeah.
And,
It's pretty crazy, actually.
We're weird because we're turn of the century babies. Right? Yeah. So we're going to be considered super old years from now because we were born before the 2000s. Yeah. There's a 19 before your birthday. How weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
That's right. You were born in
82.
82 and me 89.
Yeah, so we're kids of the 80s, man.
Yeah.
No one's going to know what that means years from now.
I was like 11 or 12 when I first had access to the internet, I remember. So technically I'm older than the internet.
We remember both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty...
So anyway, so this is the year we live now.
Yeah.
And watches, as a sort of machine, were basically more or less mastered like 200 years ago.
That's true. And actually, yeah.
I mean, yes, there have been improvements, sure.
I used
Not
to always
earth-shattering.
roll my eyes when someone said, "Oh, the tourbillon is so difficult to make." It's difficult to make if you actually want to make it accurate, which explains why.
And if you want to mass produce it.
Oh, maybe. But if there are how many percent? Like 5% of all tourbillons made have a cost certification. 95% of the tourbillons, no matter how much they cost, they are accurate to within a minute a day or 30 seconds a day or something preposterous.
At least 30 seconds.
They are not accurate at all because they're really difficult to poise. They're difficult to set to be accurate.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying is, but here's the thing: most of the simple watches can be produced in a relatively efficient assembly line manner.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've been to Japan and we've been to Switzerland, seeing them put together like, the high volume movements.
Yeah.
And they can churn out a lot of movements great because a lot of it is flat. Mm. So the tourbillon, because a human being has to spend like a long time carefully doing it, that's why it was considered so valuable.
Yeah.
Because you had to have a huge amount of time attention to it because you could never mass produce that. I mean, I guess you could, but no one wants to.
Yeah. I mean, the closest you can come to mass producing it, apart from, I think not even the Chinese tourbillons apply. I'm pretty sure that they spend a lot of time trying to make it work.
Yeah.
Or they can just slap it together and then it will just break in 2 weeks, which they used to do, and a lot of.
Oh, they look. I mean, the Chinese tourbillons I've had, I'm not going to lie, I don't wear them constantly, so I don't know how they fare over time. But if a while goes by and I spin them up, they're working.
Yeah. Well, you don't wear them that much. I can tell you that.
Me? I mean, look, it's kind of like a weird thing.
I'm not saying you should be wearing them. I'm just saying that if you start wearing them, they are not very reliable and not at all accurate.
I mean, I haven't had any that are just like truly beautiful. They're
yeah,
cool.
That's the other problem. Yeah.
But like, if I'm in the market for an aesthetically nice watch, which is what I'm usually in the market for, like, they still have a couple ways to go. I appreciate the value, but their best stuff is literally a copy of the stuff that's not theirs.
Yeah.
That's bad, the best Chinese stuff. And I'm not saying it's a total copy, but even like the high-end Chinese watchmakers, it's still highly inspired by European stuff. It's just a slight variation with Chinese characters on it. Yeah. You still don't see a lot of like homegrown
It's
stuff.
gonna happen. It will happen, but
It could happen. It's getting closer. Here's the thing. If you are a Chinese person who likes watches, other than sort of like a cool novelty, I don't think you're spending a lot of money on high-end Chinese watches.
Yeah. No,
so if you're in China, you're still buying foreign watches.
Yeah. There are not too many. How many? There's maybe a handful of Chinese manufacturers who are actually in China and probably Chinese made and Chinese branded. Luxury watch manufacturers speaking. I mean, of course not.
I don't know how they do it because China has such dense cities and it's got to be super hectic and stressful.
Yeah.
So if you think about the watchmaking culture, even in Japan, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Same thing with Switzerland. It's like a relaxing place because it takes so much time and patience and like a relaxed lifestyle to do that. So I'm impressed that in China, given all the hustle and bustle, they can still have the mentality to make watches there.
Yeah.
That's impressive as hell.
They find a way. Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, I think, so there were the tourbillons, which were the status symbols, and now, we have the
Richard Milles.
Yeah,
and I guess the Grubel Forces, but I still think that they lack an appeal for women.
Grubel Forces?
Like, it's a guy watch.
Oh, yeah.
If a woman sees it, she's like, that's a highly polished guy's watch.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a dude watch. It's classy.
Yeah. Some of them are classy, some of them are just nerd fast, just crazy nerdy watches, which is a good thing.
It's a watch to impress other guys.
Yeah.
Even FP Journe has more appeal for women.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. And Richard Mille, again, is just over the top. And if you think about it, I think part of the Richard Mille's success is that it's instantly recognizable. There's nothing quite like it out there. I mean, there are other tonneau-shaped watches.
It literally looks like a little metal-like cage full of tons of parts, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell from the other end of the room that it's a Richard Mille.
I'm still a fan. I'm a fan of Richard Mille. I like this stuff.
Yeah.
I like Hublot. I like most of the controversial brands. In fact, the brands I don't like aren't considered controversial.
It's actually, we know they are controversial, but they are not public.
Yeah, they actually are controversial.
Yeah, extremely controversial.
Like people get angry at Hublot, and I'm like, the people who work at Hublot are pretty honest. They're super open about what they do. They don't even have to admit, this is how relaxed the company is. You know how many partnerships they have? It's totally okay if you work at Hublot to not be into every single partnership. You can do something. What's that?
Which they aren't, which is a good thing.
Yeah, so the people are real.
Yeah.
At other brands, oh man, it's like super. Every single thing they do is amazing. Yeah, they're the first person. Oh, they struggled so hard for it. Hublot's like, we did this, it was cool, we're moving on. Oh, I didn't think this was the funniest partnership, or I didn't think this was the coolest, or I'm not even sure what that guy does.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes with certain employees, but you know what?
Carpet bombing, with why not?
It's fine. The watches are consistent. It's like people focus so much on the fact that because the watches aren't vastly different, all they're thinking about is who the partner is. That whole entire, I'll just call it like campaign, is just to sell watches to a group of people that aren't into watches but are into that other
field of life, whatever.
Guy, event, artist, actor,
sport,
whatever it is. Yeah. I think they should do more women. Yeah. I think if Biver really wants to keep moving forward with this progressive kind of reputation he has, I think he needs to be. He's the only one that can do it. The driving force is having more women in the industry.
Hublot has had the highest number of actually new and creatively designed ladies' watches for the last.
And you want to know what at Hublot, people at that brand, the employees, they stay a lot longer. In fact, Biver has a team of people that go with him a lot. Amazing staying power. Can you say that for a lot of other brands?
Or groups, yeah.
Can you? No.
Fluctuation is actually, it's not advertised, but it's really high in this industry.
We are practically veterans now.
Oh, big
okay?
Time. Even me with
We've been through so many administrations.
Yeah, it's actually true. Yeah,
okay, so we should say a few more things about Dubai Watch Week.
Yeah, I think we should.
I have to say, so there's a couple of major groups here that sell watches, and the Siddiqui family has the Siddiqui stores. It's also distribution, and they operate a number of brand boutiques. They have a bunch of stores. I think it's like over 60 or something like that.
Right, yeah. 67, something like that.
Something like that. And I think what's the most impressive about the family is they're not just a family that owns a bunch of watch stores. They're a family of watch lovers.
Oh yeah, big time.
Like they really like watches, and that's so great. So
One way to tell, I think, is we've met.
Other than the amazing watches they're all wearing.
That's what I was going to say. That we
both
see them around,
old and new,
and we just go up and have a little chat with them sometimes and compliment their watches and check out the watches they're wearing, and it's crazy stuff. I mean, it's
men, women, old, young, amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's really genuine. It's like cherry picked amazing. It's not your back of the hand amazing. It's
good taste, really good taste, and I think that they're sort of underappreciated in that way because people just don't know that about them.
That's what I was.
But they are like this. Yeah. They're like this almost royal family of watch lovers. They're quiet about it, but they represent a region that is so great for watches too. I mean, the amount of watches you see in Dubai on all kinds of people's wrists. I'm not saying they're all crazy expensive, but there's like. Even the waiters and waitresses are wearing like some kind of fashion watch you've never seen before.
Here is actually it's
real.
Strong, yeah.
And people always say like, oh, is it money? Is it no? There's people that actually like watches here.
Yeah, and like you said, even waiters and people who are not wearing like tens of thousands of dollars of wear.
So people watches. Say that like the market is conservative here and it only mainstream stuff sells, but I think that's decreasingly the case. I think more and more locals, especially, are getting cooler watches.
That was inevitable. I mean, for a couple of years, I guess everyone was trying to just make a safe choice and just get the big brands. And now I think that they've all.
Dubai is a good place to go if you like watches. You'll find a lot of company here, a lot of like-minded individuals.
They've become a little bit bored with the obvious choices by now. They've all of them.
And Siddiqui has all of the independent brands. They are the champion of the sort of, I'll call it the novelty, the design innovation. I hate to say innovation because innovation is like not really what we're talking about. It's design innovation. Yeah. All the design innovation is in the independents. The big brands are just kind of really trying to buckle down on establishing a core theme. I mean, they're not doing anything. The newest stuff they're doing is making old watches. That's like the most crazy thing they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. None of them want to take a risk of having something even remotely different. Can you understand that? Think about that. It used to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, if we look at the big brands from the big groups, one brand is technically one model family or one collection. Even if they make a bunch. A lot of them are even, today, they're trying to make it more simple, and as time goes on. Like Jaeger, they had a bunch of amazing collections, and now it's all about the reverso, which makes me sad, actually.
Again, I think that, the question is among the big groups, when was the last time an actually new collection came out with an actually new style?
That's your question.
It hasn't happened. Yeah. You can go through the list of all the brands, and I think the only one with actual, I'll call it some revolutionary changes, has been Tag Heuer.
The Heuer 01 was kind of new.
Radically different. And all the Aqua Racers, totally different.
No.
There's been a lot of evolution of that brand.
Evolution, yes, but it's not.
I'm not saying it's as good as it could be, but I'm saying compared to the other brands.
Oh yeah, compared to the others.
Compared to anyone else, at Swatch Group, at Richemont, at LVMH, they have been the most new.
Yeah, that's true.
The newest stuff at Zenith, like the Pilot, is old stuff, old designs.
It's as old as it can possibly get. Actually, it's really early from the 1900s as it can possibly get.
So that's going backwards in time.
Yeah.
It's only the independents.
Yeah, mostly what happens is one of these big brands just sort of forgets about a collection for some time, and then they just, we updated it.
But that's the thing, that was back when they were actually doing new stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually, and again, it's already run out, they just keep recycling things.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why they're so scared of doing something actually new. Just make, what makes a good watch. They hire all these designers. It's not like they're like, who's going to design it for us? The designers get bored doing the same thing over and over again.
Adding 1 or 2 millimeters to the diameter every year. it just got larger. It's even larger than it was like 2 years ago. Now it's even.
They don't know what else to do.
Yeah, and they're not allowed to do anything else. They would know, possibly.
Why?
They could even try.
They have all the machines. They have the designers. Make some new stuff.
Yeah.
People always wonder, like, oh, why are they doing so well? They came out with something original.
Yeah. And when they do, sometimes, most of the time, I think, from the community, there's usually a lot of pushback when they do.
So what?
I'm just saying that this, I guess, discourages them.
Okay, they always talk about the next generation of buyer. That's the problem. They're giving the next generation of buyer the same watches. Yeah. The next generation wants new stuff.
Exactly.
Do you ever want anything that in your mind your parents wanted?
It's a weird thing to think about, but I guess...
No. You were like, what's all the new stuff that came out after? You don't mind the company that made it.
But with watches, I guess it's a little bit different.
What? Yeah. Ask yourself this. And again, I'm actually curious what people think.
Yeah.
When's the last time a male child wanted to drive his father's car? Like the same car. It's like, I'm going to buy the exact same model. I've never heard of that.
With my own money? No. Yeah.
I've never, ever heard of that. If it's given for free, okay.
Even if it was like a super cool car, like a Jaguar E-Type, I would still want the F-Type because it's like 3 times faster and looks better.
It doesn't matter. You want something else.
Yeah.
So that's what the marketers don't understand about the next generation, is because they're not making new products for them. They're just trying to adapt the old message in an awkward way.
And the next generation is really growing up fast and into money, starting to earn.
They just want cool stuff.
The wide generation.
So they want brands that they can trust, but they want stuff that's new.
Yeah, so who's giving that to them?
Fashion brands, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The fashion brands are doing it, but that's it.
But that's not something you aspire to. You don't aspire to.
I'm just saying, if the fashion brands are doing it and it's successful, then why can't the traditionalists do it? You know what I think we like about watch brands like Chanel or Louis Vuitton or all these brands? They actually come out with original designs, and we're like, oh, great. And when they make an actually good watch, too, we're like, even better.
But the only contradiction there is that these watches do go away. I mean, the Tambour, for example, or Chanel,
What do you mean, go away?
I mean, they are just discontinued, and then you're like, oh, well, the Submariner has been around for 60 years, and whatever, everything else has been around for decades, and this just comes and goes. So did I make a good buying decision when I bought something that's not around anymore? Because a lot of the times...
Doesn't that make it way more collectible?
It sort of does, but at the same time, a lot of the times what they say that the value is that it's...
This is the culture that believes in disposable fashion. Why would they have a problem with a watch? If they wear something for years, that's way longer than a lot of them are spending on pants.
Yeah. Well, if they wear it for a few years, I guess that's fine. If they wear it for like 4, 5, 6 years. But if you buy a Louis Vuitton or a Chanel for $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, that's a lot of money for something to be just outdated like that.
A lot of times those people aren't watch people, they're Louis Vuitton people.
Yeah.
And the Louis Vuitton people want a watch to go with the variety of Louis Vuitton things they get.
But that's a completely different reason to buy, and they're not buying because it's something new, they're just buying because it's Louis Vuitton.
They want a high quality thing from a brand they like.
Yes, but you were saying, the original point was that, who's a brand that gives them something new? And then they are not buying because it's new; they're just buying because it's Louis Vuitton.
No, I think it's new, and I think that Louis Vuitton doesn't want to be regurgitated.
Yeah. It's not this and that. I think it's both. I agree, but
somehow this was related to Dubai.
Oh yeah, Dubai Watch Week. I like.
Well, we had a good time here. Yeah. It's fun. It's an interesting place to go. A little out of the way for us, but nice. So yeah, come to Dubai for the watch culture. I don't think the prices are amazing, but the selection is.
And what about VAT and local currency? I guess that you can actually get...
I don't know. There's taxes here. It's not cheaper to buy watches, but there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for now. And we hope you enjoyed this table discussion.
Yeah, I guess we can.
If you like these, let us know. We'll do more of them. Okay, Thanks, guys.
See you later.